Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the art of Jaime Laredo, the complete Sony or Columbia and RCA recordings. And this is really, I think, a wonderful box. I'm very surprised, actually, that Sony did it for a couple of reasons. Laredo is a violinist, a violist, and he's best known really as a chamber player. He started out as a soloist, as do many, but he didn't develop a career as a sort of hotshot violin virtuoso, although he certainly was one. That's not the point. He certainly, as you can hear in this set, he really had the ability. But he's best known as a colleague. And you know, artists and musicians, and especially, I think, violinists, who deliberately subordinate their egos for the opportunity to work with others and to teach others, because he's very well known as a teacher, they are rare. And they don't get a lot of attention. And as a result, to have Sony, I guess it is, put together a 22 CD set devoted to works in which he participates, and he is not always the star of the show, I think it's just wonderful. I really do. And the music making here is of exceptionally high quality. But the other reason this surprised me is because, you know, as a result of the fact that this is mostly chamber music, most of it appears elsewhere in other boxes, particularly if the other chamber music partners are more famous than Jaime Laredo, as they often were. Doesn't mean that they're better, and it doesn't mean that these performances are not worth hearing. So I need to go through carefully what's in here so you will know whether or not you already have it, and whether you want it or not. But I just want to acknowledge this because I want to acknowledge him and his work and his artistic excellence and his career. He deserves this. And it was almost an act of altruism that Sony did it. And I mean, for a major label to be altruistic like this, I think is bizarre. But on the other hand, it might not have cost them very much, since most of this material is available elsewhere. They already had it on hand. Most of it, not all of it. So let's go through this. I've got the book. Let's just sort of whiz through the book here. And these are wonderful original jacket, by the way, you know, things all the way through. And you really will see what an illustrious career he's had. And, you know, what a wonderful opportunity is to get a chance to focus on his contribution as opposed to everybody else. So let's just look and see what's in here. First, okay, his premiere recording, an RCA living stereo from 1959. You get a Vivaldi sonata, the Manuel de Falla Suite Populaire Espagnole, and then we get some, short goodies. You know, Wieniawski's Scherzo Tarantella, and Bach's Air on the G string, and a Paganini Caprice, and Debussy's, you know, The Girl with the Flaxen Hair, and the Sarasate Carmen Fantasy. But, you know, these are all those things that you find on, you know, violin recital discs, of which this is one, and it was a nice introduction. But then things immediately get a little more serious. The pianist, by the way, on these is Vladimir Sokolov. You get the Brahms third violin sonata, and the Bach Partita for solo violin number 3 in E major. And let me see if there's anything else on here. No, that's CD 2, 40 minutes long. CD 3, you get the Bruch Violin Concerto number 1 and Mozart's Violin Concerto number 3. I love number 3. It has that gorgeous slow movement, which Laredo plays with this wonderful combination of purity and simplicity and lack of affectation. It's just marvelous. This is with the National Symphony Orchestra, actually, under Howard Mitchell. Remember him? He made a few RCA living stereo recordings, including a Shostakovich Fifth Symphony. And then you get the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto and the Bach Concerto in A minor, which is a very interesting coupling because, of course, Bach was so important to Mendelssohn, and putting them together is actually kind of a smart thing. And this Mendelssohn Concerto, both of them are with the Boston Symphony under Charles Munch. And this is a fascinating comparison because, of course, Munch's famous Mendelssohn is with Heifetz. And Laredo, you want to say Laredo was no Heifetz. For some, that'll be a good thing because Heifetz is famously high-powered and fast and flashy. And this is no less virtuosic. It truly isn't. I mean, we're splitting hairs when it comes to technical finesse and things like that. But the whole performance is more relaxed, a little bit more lyrical, by no means slow, and by no means soft-edged, but oh, so different from Heifetz. And it's wonderful to compare the two with Munch and Boston as the accompanist to both. So it's great to have this. Then we get the Beethoven Triple Concerto, one of the great ones, with Rudolf Serkin and Leslie Parnas. Remember when the Marlborough Festival Orchestra under Sasha Schneider, when I did my talk on the Triple Concerto, I mentioned this one. This is one of the classic versions. So that's really, really cool. And then we have another Mendelssohn disc. This is all music from Marlborough, where Jaime Laredo has been a teacher for 100 million, billion, trillion, zillion years. And it's great seeing all of this Marlborough stuff show up. I mean, it was issued separately, of course, but here you get the Mendelssohn Octet and the Mozart Concertone for 2 violins and orchestra with Jaime Laredo and Michael Tree, again with the Marlborough Festival Orchestra and Alexander Schneider. So those are wonderful to have. All of this, like I said, Marlborough stuff. One of the all-time great Trout quintets by Schubert with Serkin, Laredo, Philip Nagel, and Leslie Parnas and Julius Levine. Double bass. Oh, my goodness. And then Mozart's Piano Trio number 3. That's Kerschel, 502, for those of you who are Kerschel people, with Serkin, Laredo, and Madeline Foley. And don't worry about not being familiar with all of the people on these lists. These are all fantastic instrumentalists. So I'm delighted to be able to welcome this material back in a nice, convenient box. Next, we have the Revel Piano Trio with Ruth Laredo. Get the last name. That's Mrs. Jaime Laredo. And Jeffrey Solo cello. And then the Ravel Sonata for violin and cello with Jaime Laredo and Leslie Parnas. Marvelously played. All of this stuff is just terrific. Then we've got a classic double set, discs 9 and 10, the Bach Sonatas for violin and piano with Glenn Gould. See what I mean by saying this stuff was sort of issued elsewhere? And you have your Glenn Gould stuff, that you've got this, right? But they're famous, and I need say no more about them. They are extremely famous. And then we've got the Mendelssohn Quintet for both quintets, the 2-string quintets by Mendelssohn. These are beautiful works, lovely, lovely works, and they're played by Laredo, my goodness, sorry, Laredo, Anna Kavafian, and Kim Kashkashian and Sharon Robinson and what's this? Heiichiro Oyama. Beautiful stuff, wonderful chamber music making in the most convivial atmosphere. These are classics. In fact, a big Marlborough box would have been lovely, wouldn't it? That would be fun some year. Who knows? Okay, the Brahms piano quartets. These are the famous ones with Emanuel Ax, Isaac Stern, Jaime Laredo on viola, and Yo-Yo Ma on cello. They're very fine performances. They're sort of reference recordings. They've been around forever. Then we get the Schoenberg Serenade with a whole bunch of people, which is fun. And the Mozart, what's this? The Sinfonia Concertante for violin and viola with Cho Lang Lin violin and Jaime Laredo viola. And he's a really great violist, by the way. I mean, he's wonderful. And the Concertone, one more time, with Laredo and Lin. And this time Laredo is the first violinist with the English Chamber Orchestra and Raymond Leppard. And let's see the Chevalier de Saint-Georges, the Symphony Concertante in G major for 2 violin and orchestra with Jaime Laredo and Miriam Fried with the London Symphony Orchestra under Paul Freeman. Let's see, now we're at disc 16 already, so there's not that much more to go. But I hope you're really seeing just the repertoire is marvelous. It's a perspective on like the whole 19th and early 20th centuries worth of chamber music that everybody does. And it's superbly well done with wonderful Laredo isms and lots of fabulous contributors from equally distinguished colleagues. So the Fauré piano quartets, Yay, with axe, stern, Laredo, and ma. Those are so beautiful. Oh my God, they're gorgeous. If you don't know them, you must. And then we have the Brahms sextets. They're on 2 CDs along with other short little pieces. And this is with Stern, Lynn, Laredo, Michael Tree, Yo-Yo Ma, and Sharon Robinson. I love the Brahms. I'm such a sucker for the Brahms sextets. But again, this is in like one of the Stern boxes, I think, because the big Stern box has all the Stern stuff. So you've got to be a little bit picky about what you get, and then pay attention to what you already may own. Then we get the Beethoven piano quartet in E flat major, opus 18, along with the Schumann piano quartet with axe, stern, Laredo, and ma. You can see they were a team at one point. And then Schubert, the Schubert C major quintet with 2 cellos. This is a gorgeous performance again with Stern, Lynn, Laredo, Ma, and Robinson. And the Boccherini quintet. What's this one? Opus 11, number 5, G275. The whole quintet for a change. So I think, let me see. A couple more discs. Mozart piano quartets. Those are also equally glorious with axe, stern, Laredo, and ma. The Dvorak piano quartet number 2. That's a knockout of a piece with the same group. And the Korngold suite for 2 violins, cello, and piano left hand with Joseph Silverstein violin, Jaime Laredo viola, Yo-Yo Ma, and Leon Fleischer. And with that, the set comes to an end. I'm not going to go crazy about making comparisons about individual performances and things like that because, like I said, this is a tribute set, and none of the performances are less than first class. None of the playing is less than first class. The only question, as I said, is whether you already have this in your collection. But if you don't, and you can still get this, it's going to be a good deal. It probably won't be available for long. And I just want to say congratulations to Mr. Laredo for a career well spent and a magnificent legacy. Whether you're front and center or not, it doesn't matter. You are just as important and just as great. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.